podcast, Falcon. Happy podcast day.
Thank you so much. Good to be here on another wonderful podcast day.
Mm-hmm, As it is every time, right?
Yes, truly it is.
Mm-hmm, Whew. Man, Baldur's Gate 3, am I right?
You are correct.
So much in that game. We have been streaming it every day for the last week.
Yep. And we're doing our own solo campaigns as well. And by
Uh-huh.
comparing notes, we just know how much stuff there is in that game, but maybe we don't know how much there is, but we know there is more than we have seen in our solo campaigns.
Yes. And we've been playing so much together. I actually haven't played my solo campaign in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Uh just I don't want to get burnt out on it, but my god. Every
Yeah, I mean,
time something rocks up and you're like, oh, I know this, or I'm like, oh, I know this, we get the other person to do it. I'm like, that's not how it
yeah.
went for me. That's not how it went at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Yeah. Or like, oh yeah, I went here on my playthrough and it's like, oh, I totally missed this whole wing of this house and like another quest.
Mm.
Like, remember how we're looking for Annabelle's mom and dad?
Yeah,
They are in the House of Healing.
they're in the House of Healing. We were just all over that.
I know, right? That's a good example of what we're talking about.
We gotta go back there and find them.
I know. What's up, bovine slime? Yeah, I do, Aki. I remember what's happening. Oh, Aki's getting an ad. Never mind.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. I mean, that's a great example. I was just dinking around the House of Healing, and then I was like, "Who's this? Oh, look at that!" And then I was like, "We were just here." There was, yeah. So we're gonna have to go back and do that. Obviously, I'm just trying to file
Mhm.
these things away of like stuff, and then yeah, just different quests. There's a drinking quest game, and I did it differently than
Mhm.
on our co-op version, and yeah, different results. Like
Did you
I,
try and
I
drink?
yeah, and I failed, and I was like, I'm gonna die. Oh no!
What
But like,
happens?
spoiler alert: what happens is you just get drunk.
Oh.
You're just Constitution saving against getting drunk, apparently, which is yes, disappointing.
That is not what I expected. To be drinking the fluoro blue alchemical mixture from a zombie bloat man.
Yeah, that literally kills giant zombie abomination.
Yeah, the great unclean one, blessed of Nurgle from Warhammer 40k. Basically, looks like one of those. If you know what those are, it's just serving booze. Apparently, that's a little disappointing. But I mean, it was fun to try and drink him under the table.
Yeah,
Either way.
certainly was. Yeah, you have to make all
Uh,
these Constitution saving checks, and like you have to perform for him and tell him stories, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. So apparently, when you're drunk, you get disadvantage on all your checks.
mm-hmm, hmm How
Mm-hmm.
long are you
Mm-hmm.
drunk for?
At least 30 minutes after you got drunk, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
It's a while, apparently.
Still a long rest. You just drunk the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't want that.
Uh-huh. Anywho, yeah, it's just great. Again, I really feel like they put so much time into just the branching quest lines
Mm-hmm,
and trying to account for different choices, trying to have them make actually effect
mm-hmm,
on the different, the different places you are.
mm-hmm.
Somehow keeping track of the choices in one area and how they will affect the other area. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I almost feel like the feat of programming the game itself, the visuals, the combat, and everything was probably a lot easier
Mm-hmm.
than the branching storylines and choices and stuff.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, just so much work. And like sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you'll find little holes where it's like, I was hoping this would do something. Like we keep taking our follower of Shar with us into all these Sharon temples, and a lot of the times she's just like, "I got nothing for you," and I was like, "Could we like react at all, like just a little bit?" You're a super hard devotee. You keep talking about how much you love Shar and like how much you want to see one of these things, and then you're like, "Neat, I guess."
But we finally found one where she gives a fuck, right?
We did.
Like,
That's true. It was like the third one. We finally got
but
there.
we got there, but it's mainly because it offers her a class up right? It's like, oh, you can become a Dark Justicia now. And she's like, sweet, I wanted a promotion in my order. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, considering how Lae'zel's concept of a promotion within her order is going, I'm not sure that this one's going to be any different, but we'll see.
We'll see. No, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah, there's no trauma in this game. Everything always works out for the best for everyone.
100% of the time, you know.
Especially when you sell your vampire friend into slavery. Actually,
I haven't seen him
we
in
didn't
a
even
while.
sell him.
No,
We
didn't
didn't
get
sell
anything.
him. We were just like,
we gave him
here.
away. Maybe we're the bad guys.
Are we the baddies? I mean, it was that choice was almost worth it alone, just solely for his face when you outright betray him, and he's just like, because he's this like snarky, smooth, like, you know,
Aristocrat.
performing artist, yeah, aristocrat kind of a dude. Always, like every time you talk to him, and that's the first time it feels like the mask really falls off, and he's like, "What?"
I can't believe you
Amazing.
do this to me. It's like,
Yeah.
well, when we first met, you put a knife to my throat, and I really have been holding a grudge ever since.
And then 10 minutes after we met, you tried to drink my blood without my consent. So that was another
Also
strike.
Also true. And if you don't stop him, you die. Like,
Right. So sorry, Asterion. I know a lot of people love you, but but to answer your question, Aki, yeah, I do try to remember what's going on in my solo campaign compared to what's going on in the duo one that we're doing, the co-op. Sometimes it does get confusing. I'm like, have I been to that place alone, or is that just with Somicron?
Yeah, sometimes I go back and forth between the two, and I'm like, why can't I do this? Oh, right, it's granted me by a piece of gear. Where did I find that gear? I need to go get that gear.
Yeah. It's like, where's this super cool ability this character has? Oh, it's in the other playthrough. Crap. Yeah. Or sometimes it's like there's this really smart way to beat this boss, but I need to find this thing to do it. And I'm like, okay, no. I did it with Somicron. Let me see if I can find it by myself. And it's like, nope, can't find it. This game is too big. There's too much stuff going on. Anyway, thanks, Bovine Slime. What's up? Subbing to the podcast. Awesome. Podcast channel.
And I just think like there's 12 classes, 6 playable characters or something. Like you can go through and take a different approach to all of these things. Do they expect this to be the last video game they ever make, and just people will only play this until the end of time and still never see everything?
Right. There are Reddit threads that talk about this where it's like there are like 1.2 million lines of dialogue in this game. How are you ever expected to hear and see all of them? And the answer is just play it over and over again until you die. That's pretty much the idea. What's up, Kai, in chat? Yeah. Seriously, though, it's crazy. And yeah, I'm already like, oh, next playthrough, I want to do this. And it's like, but how many of these will there be?
Yeah, like I like when I find a game that I really like, I want to get all the achievements in the game. And apparently a lot of people have not been getting a lot of the achievements, but I was looking through them and there's one that is
53 of them. It's not like there's a million. Anyway.
It's not like there's a million. Right. There's 700 in Halo and I've got 500 of them. So I'm working my way through it, right? But one of them is to multi-class into every class in the game without respeccing from withers. So if there's 12 classes, you have to play to level 12 and take a different class at every level.
Right.
Play the entire game just once for that.
Right. Just for that one achievement. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But again, the concept of different choices to get different results makes it feel fresh. I mean, it's crazy.
Every time it'll be a mostly unique experience.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you just be like, well, I did it this way, so I know how to fastest do it this way again, and then make all the same choices, that would be pretty boring.
Totally. I think that would for sure. I mean, you're always going to repeat some conversations without a doubt. Like there's no way to avoid that, but yeah, and some ideas. Anyway, fantastic. Yeah, just it's all good. So specifically, there's that one fight with the doctor guy. And I looked and looked for that book where it tells you how to take him down without fighting him, and I couldn't find it. But it did lead me to finding Annabelle's parents, so like that's good, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I just fought him
Swings and
normal.
roundabouts. Yeah.
Yeah, did the fight normal. And so it turns out that the dead nurses that we found, the dead whatever students that we found with the super overpowered weapons that we can't use.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder if we loot those, then he can't like raise them and get
Oh.
them during the fight.
Yeah.
Turns out no. Turns out the live students that he has also have copies of those weapons, and he gets them from those. And I was like, I thought I was being so smart.
Drats.
Yeah. It was
Too
a pretty
funny.
fun fight. It was all right.
Yeah.
He definitely one-shot my rogue a couple times with one of those,
Oh yeah.
like roll 8 D8s, and I was like, okay, she's dead.
What do you mean? Your character doesn't have 90 HP?
Right. She does not.
Ugh.
Anyway, so good. Very good.
Ugh. Yeah.
So I just sent you a tweet that there's something of a bit of a buzz going on in the gaming world
About
right now. It's not huge.
you sent me an X, Falcon. Please get up with the new nomenclature.
Nope, it's a tweet.
It's a tweet.
It's from a former developer for Blizzard. I don't know
Mhm.
this guy, but it seems like people know who he is.
Mm.
But he's complaining that the Starfield start screen,
Yeah.
apparently there's a beta or an alpha or something that you can get into that
Mm.
he has access to. Yeah, so speaking of Starfield, oh man, I could have segued. Thanks, Bovine. I didn't use your segue properly. My bad. Yeah, so he's complaining that this start menu for Starfield is like too sparse. And everyone's like, I've never heard this complaint before. This is insane. They
Yeah.
bring up all
Okay.
these other examples, like Elden Ring start menu is totally like FromSoft does it with every one of their games. It's
Uh.
Elden Ring start load done. It's like it's all we need. So yeah,
uh.
he's kind of getting dragged across the Twitters right now.
So are people complaining that this guy's just making a mountain out of a molehill, or?
Yeah, and I mean
Okay.
the other concern is like, okay, but the other end of this is apparently the Call of Duty games.
Mm.
They have tons of buttons. There's tons of like microtransaction stuff you can do. There's a store. There's redeem your points. There's your point total. There's visit our website. There's,
Mhm.
you know,
Eh,
here's the deal of the week. And it's just this big, busy, horrible mess.
As someone who plays Call of Duty with my housemate, I do not need a full screen prompt inviting me to apply for a job at Activision every time I launch the game. I don't need that.
There you go. That's it. Thank you, Omicron, for your first person example. And yeah, okay, Skyrim. Skyrim has a super basic, super simple menu too, and it's incredibly successful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, is he just? It's almost like he's speaking about it from the aspect of the microtransaction and the business side of things. Like, how are you supposed to make any
Mm.
money with your game if this is what your start menu looks like? And it's like that's a scummy little concept. Or is he really just coming at it from an artistic perspective? I think we would need to know what he considers a better
Mm-hmm.
start screen for a game. I wonder if
Right.
he responds at all here. And I mean, in
Uh,
this tweet, he says it shows how rushed the team was. If you have a
mm.
simple start screen, it means the team didn't have enough time to make a better one. And it's like, it's not really how design works, my dude.
Well, I mean, let's compare that to the Baldur's Gate 3 start menu. It starts off with an overlook of presumably the city of Baldur's Gate. And then once you click into it, it goes down into the Underdark and you have a whole
Hmm.
new screen. It's showing and showcasing all these places you can go, inviting you to explore them. Whereas this one for Starfield is just like, here's a logo. Do you want the settings? I mean, look, I don't think it's a problem. I think a lot of games can get away with a very minimalistic start menu, but I don't think it hurts to be immersive.
No, I don't think so either.
Mhm.
It's a good thing to compare it to, certainly.
Mhm.
He apparently is a real huge fan of the original Command and Conquer starting screen,
Oh yeah, what that look like?
which we need to hear. We need to there's the tweet about it. You link to the YouTube video. Pro tip: players don't want to spend much time on the title screen. Truth.
Uh, is this like a 3-minute loading screen for the title where it's like installing EVA data link driver? And
Oh no,
they're
this is the installer. This isn't actually the loading screen for the game.
okay.
Huh. So he's just saying, look at the effort they put into making the installer for Command and Conquer look awesome and cool
Mm.
when they didn't have to do this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he likes the result. So I think I guess maybe he's looking for like super cool animations. I imagine he'd like the Baldur's Gate one because it does do a cool thing, right?
Uh, you know, yeah. He does have someone like was like, hey, yeah, this game's gonna flop, no passion at all, with just the Baldur's Gate when it's looking at the descending steps, and he's retweeted it saying Baldur's Gate start screen is impeccable.
There you
Who
go.
hasn't
Yeah.
waited on the screen to see if the distant adventures would do anything? They show a lot of passion, so yeah, he does like it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm looking at the Command and Conquer installation thing, and I would get annoyed by this very quickly. I would much rather like the Windows wizard level of simplistic.
Blue progress bar, left to right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to mistakenly think I'm already in the game.
Oh, this is taking me back to the days when you had to choose what your sound card was from a list of like 20. And what IRQ port you were on. I do not miss those days at all. We were so much better off.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah. So I guess he just, I don't know. Someone needs to ask him about the Call of Duty one. Come on, Grums.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody did bring up Elden Ring. Let's see what he said. Did he respond about Elden Ring? He did not. Garbage. Anyway. Anywho, so it sounds like if he likes the Baldur's Gate one, he's not looking for a super busy one like Command and Conquer necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants it to do something. He doesn't want you to load into the game and just have a start button.
Right. He doesn't want it to be the functional interface of a program. He wants it to be the immersive beginning of an experience.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. But as long as they nail it in the game, you can do without it. Like the Final Fantasy VII start screen is Clouds bust the sword in the ground, and it says "New game, continue" or settings. Right.
Yep.
And they copied that for the remake. Why? Because it works.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, anyway, I just thought that was an interesting discussion that people were probably getting a little bit too mad about.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I've honestly never had that thought in my life. I have never once judged a game based on its start screen at all. Period. I haven't even been like, this is a bad one. I probably subconsciously was like, this is a bad one, but I've never like consciously had the thought, this is a bad start screen for this video game.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have. It's definitely not something I would catalog away to like pull up now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, man, StarCraft sure is a great game. Let me mention the start screen in defending how great a game it is. Like,
yeah.
No, not really. But I mean, even the Brood War start screen is pretty involved, right? Anyway, anywho, that's a thing.
I'm just looking for this other. I think Aki actually shared it in the Discord, but I think she might have shared a screenshot of this tweet. No, she shared the tweet from Crafty Matt, who's saying that it's something about Baldur's Gate 3, like people playing Baldur's Gate 3 are playing Dungeons and Dragons 5e for the first time without a dungeon master who fudges rolls and stuff, and they don't like it. It's this guy also goes on to be like, yeah, these people are D&D tourists, right? He's like, oh, you're just using this as an excuse to gatekeep, cool. But Baldur's Gate is not a completely functional 5e, just FYI. There is a setting that is on by default called Karmic Rolls, which is if you roll really low and then you have inspiration, you will roll really high.
I have noticed this. I was going to bring this up.
Yeah.
because if you roll a 2 and you do inspiration, you're not getting another 2.
Right.
It does not happen.
So I've actually ticked that off moving forward. I want, like, if I have one inspiration left and I roll a 1, I want to be able to roll another 1.
I agree. Oh, good. That's a setting. I'll turn
Yeah.
that off too, because I'm with you. I don't want to feel like inspiration is a free win. Like, that's
hmm
stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to. I definitely want some things to feel assured. If my character is like an accomplished thief, and I have a plus 15 to lockpick, and it's a 10, I feel like I should get that most of the time. But
Yeah.
just
I don't
because
want to inspire to be a free win. That's it.
yeah, yep, ugh,
Yep.
yeah.
What was the other thing I saw somebody posted in the Discord? Oh, the screenshot of the game journalist who was like, "I'm safe scumming my way through Baldur's Gate, and I'm not going to be shamed for it." And I was
Totally
like,
fine, totally acceptable.
it's acceptable, but like, I don't.
Mhm. I think it's acceptable as long as that person understands that um, they should play the game twice. Once doing that to get the exact game that they want, and then once to get the let's see how bad things can go. Because that's totally different, perfectly viable like methods of play, and you will get two totally different games out of it. I think if you just go with the dice be what the dice be, uh you're going to see the expanse of the game that you have now, but also getting the exact playthrough that you want is a very different thing as well. I'm totally fine with it. My solo
Yeah,
play, I'm safe scumming all the way. I'm doing it. But
like consistently, like
for
for every time.
every time I go into a conversation,
Okay, well, there you go.
sometimes I'm just like, I want to see what this does. Like when I was at the Gith creation, I'm like, oh, I'll just hand over this artifact. I was kind of on the point of just like, I just want to see what this does. I'll save beforehand. And then I was like, no, I kind of like that outcome, and so I just stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
But for our co-op campaign, I'm not doing that. Like the only time we're saving
Right.
is like before a fight, because if we mess up horribly wrong, it's like, well, I don't want to have to go back and replay 45 minutes just to get back here, because that's when the last autosave was.
Yeah. But I think the important caveat here is that they do it twice, right? Is that they need to play through it once that way, but they really should play through the game without saves coming just to get an actual experience of what like is intended.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: whether or not it's intended is a matter of question in itself, because they put in F5 is quick save, F8 is quick load. They put it in there. They expect people to use it. They're not hiding it. So who's to say whether or not it's an intended style of play or not from the developer's perspective?
Well, the game itself is all about choice and consequence. And if you're bypassing all of the consequence, then are you really playing the game?
Sure. Yeah.
In the
Because
way that the developers intend.
the developers intend you to make the decision whether or not you want to have it be fully random or if you want a customized experience.
I know. They gave you that option, but I
They
think
do.
if you talk to them and said if a person can only play through the game once because of how much time they have, would you prefer that they save scum on everything, or would you prefer that they save scum very rarely? And they
I
would
think
say, "Let's do
I
very rarely." I
mm,
think that's the better experience.
I think the dev would say to play in the way that makes them the most happiest, right? Because it's not hurting anyone else to play it that way. It's play the game how you want.
Mm.
I don't think
All
the
right.
dev's going to be like particularly worried that they didn't turn off, because like again, karmic dice is on by default,
Yeah.
right? So obviously, they've put in tools to make the game easier to not fail. Save scumming is just the way to not fail. It's just the next step, and that's how it's on by default. So the devs want people to not fail. I don't think that's true either.
I mean, I don't know that save scumming is on by default. I think you have to seek it out. You have to like
It's a
figure out
default
what it
hotkey.
is.
It's a
It
default hotkey.
is. It is, but I don't think that means they're like, here it is. Here is save scumming. Use it, please. It's there.
Right, but comic rolls is on by default. It's
100%. That's the thing.
those
Yes.
are like, to me, those are two parts of the same coin. They're both on by default. Like you can unbind quick save and quick load if you wanted. I don't think anyone's doing it, but you
Yeah,
could.
but I mean, karmic rolling is limited, and that's all I'm saying. I'm okay with saves coming every once in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what karmic rolls are. You don't have an inspiration every time you fail a roll.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, sometimes you're just gonna get your teeth kicked in,
I
and
mean,
that's okay.
I feel like if you're new, like had an encyclopedia of the game, you could probably get inspiration for every role, right? Like, because you can get them all over the shop.
You can.
Was what I've noticed. But play the game how you want to play. Like, that's what matters. Have fun the way you
Yeah.
want to have fun.
Yeah, and again, I'm not gonna like scream at somebody on the internet because they're doing this. I just
I feel like you've screamed at me. You've hurt my feelings. I demand a written apology and 500 gold the next time we
that is not happening. Holy smokes, is that happening?
play. So be it. Shadowheart will not heal you in the next fight.
Fair. I have some healing potions. I'll be just fine, thanks. Yeah. Anywho, that's that. Man, my brain's just like remembering all the stuff we missed from that part of the map. Ah.
Mhm.
All right, enough.
Fortunately,
Enough.
we can still go back there. I did see somebody was like there was a video that was like the 10 instant death failures in Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, I know a couple of these, like letting Asterion just drink you dry. That's game over, right? Like, you can't continue.
Yeah.
One of them is when you find the mind flayer that infected you at the crashed Nautilus. If you like just let him do his thing, he drains you of all your life. Just game over.
Right.
But the very last one, I think, was something that was only in the early access, or we've just somehow not gotten, because apparently if you travel back to Act 1 enough, the lady, the spirit, the lady in the astral prism can't protect you because you're traveling too far across the land or whatever, back and forth to Act 1.
What? There's
Yeah.
geographical limitations on this?
So, but we like they said you can only do it 3 times, and I'm like, we've been back to the Grove like 9 times to sell stuff. This is
Oh yeah.
so either this is
Easy.
bunk or
Or it's old.
or it's old. But I am now just I have that worry in my mind of like, can we still go back there to sell? I don't know.
Well, we'll have to find out, huh? Yeah, there's definitely stuff in there. Like I saw a post about an exhaustion mechanic that seems to have been removed from the early access for the release.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, and just again, I saw something in the very start of the game that was new. If you rescue Shadowheart on the Nautilus, and the get to the control deck and launch us, jump us, if Shadowheart has the spell command, you can command the demon fighting the mind flayer to drop his weapon and take it. You can get his flaming like +2 greatsword at the start of the game.
Cool. That sounds super awesome. I want that. Yeah.
We should restart our game.
Yep. Just for that.
Just for that. We'll redo 20 hours of work. Just for that.
For a +2 sword. I did find an instant party kill when you're trying to get the blood relic in the monastery.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody's standing in a certain position when you're trying to disarm a trap on the way there, it blows up and knocks you into a chasm and everybody dies. The game's like the end. Like, oh, bummer.
Wow. That's too bad. I'm sorry you all died. You started over again because that was the end of the game for you, right? Like
That
you
is
wouldn't
correct.
reload or save there. You started again, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just so we're clear.
Good. All right. Let's see. Oh, I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie last week.
Ninja Turtles. How was it?
Was that 2 weeks ago? Have we talked about this in here?
No, we talked about it on before a stream, I think.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most impressive things about it is the animation style.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of appreciating recently with animated movies, especially with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And now this one is doing its own thing too, where I don't even know how to explain it. It feels comic booky without having comic book panels, right?
Okay.
Like you look at it and go, this is comic book, but without the help of like
a speech bubble.
Right. A speech bubble or
the word pow when you punch something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought visually it was really, really that way. I thought um, the characters are all stay pretty true to themselves, which I think is important. Again, this
Mhm.
is Ninja Turtles stuff. This is not the most serious thing in the world. I'm pretty sure the original comic developer who came up with these characters was like, I was just being wild
Uh,
and crazy, man. Like, this is not
have
anything deep.
Have you read the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I have not.
Because they were like a spin-off parody, like I don't think it was official initially, of Daredevil. So the
Oh,
chemical waste that
right.
blinds him rolls into the sewers and makes the Ninja Turtles, and it is a black and white gritty comic about ninjas who murder people. Right? Like it was not for
Awesome.
kids. It was like a hard R comic.
And then someone's like, we should make a TV show of this for kids. And they're like,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
See that? Okay. So, two things. One, so in the Daredevil fights ninjas that are called the Hand.
Uh-huh. And the Teenage Mutant Ninjas have the foot. The
Yep.
Foot
They
Clan.
fight
Yeah.
the ninja clan called the Foot, which I didn't know that when I was 6. I was just like, oh, the Foot Clan. Cool. Is it
Mhm.
because they kick people? No, it's because
Nope.
of Daredevil, which you didn't know existed back then, Young Falcon. Yeah.
Uh,
That is the thing though about the Ninja Turtles is that all of the incarnations I've seen them in, it's all PG. It's all
mhm.
a PG universe. So you have these turtles with literal swords and like scythes, which
Nice.
are stabbing and slashing weapons. And
Mhm.
they're like, how do we make these turtles fight without actually murdering anybody or like dismembering them?
Mhm.
And the answer is a lot of like punching people with your fist with the hilt of your sword or like
Right.
bopping them on the head. Yeah, there's
Mhm.
a couple fights in there where the turtles are going pretty ham on a bunch of dudes, and it's like nobody gets stabbed. There is no blood. There is no slashing, but they win. It's like, so would this be
Mhm.
more effective if you just like punched them? Like you didn't have your weapons?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and they got around that in the cartoon back in the 80s by having the Foot Clan be robots.
Mm.
So
Because you can kill robots without any
you
moral
can slash
motive.
off their heads and their arms and bisect them and all you want to do because they're
Mhm.
robots and it was fine.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Facts.
then the movie made them people, which brought us back to the original problem of we can't have Leonardo run a human dude through the chest. Like we're past PG at that point.
Just
But
a
it's just
little. Yeah.
it's a weird limitation that they have, and it's from the origin, like you said, of this gritty,
Mhm.
murderous, rated R black and white comic where they came from.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, I have some
Weird.
good news about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie.
Okay.
Uh, Friday the 1st of September and Sunday the 3rd, both days will have two advanced showing screenings of this movie.
Hooray!
And then
Like
it won't be
advanced
back for
showing, and it's been in America for like a month.
and it's only four showings over 2 days,
Oh,
and it won't be back for like another week and a half after that.
that's so weird.
So I might get to watch this in about 12 days or so.
Are they a thing in Australia? Like, do you remember
Advanced
them
showings.
being like playing with the toys and being on TV when you were a kid?
Yeah,
Yeah. So what the
absolutely.
heck? Like, why are they limited releasing this in Australia?
Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Okay, fair enough. God, it's funny. Anywho, yeah, liked it a lot. Very fun. Some weird story choices they made based on the lore that I know, but once you adapt it, you need to make choices, and I feel like they were good ones. So yeah. So it started off, and they didn't show the origin of how they became Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like just skipping how Batman became Batman. Like we've seen
Right.
it enough.
Or
And
how
then
Superman became Superman. Yeah.
yeah, but no, they went back and did the origin, and I was like, ah, but then they were super cute as baby turtles. So I was like, all right, fine.
If I recall correctly, the Michael Bay live action ones did the same thing. It's like, oh, sweet, we're just turtles, ninjas in
Yeah.
a half shell. Like, let's get to it. And then it's like, oh no, but the big bad villain is also got more mutant turtle juice or whatever. And here's where we escaped from as little baby turtles.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Classic.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
one of these days, we'll get a turtle property where they just skip the backstory because everybody knows it's not complicated. They get
hmm
ooze dropped on them. The end.
hmm
Well, and I guess Splinter teaches them to be ninjas because reasons. It's interesting. In this one, Splinter's just a regular rat. In
What
the
do you mean?
cartoon,
What do you mean a regular rat? Like he's got like he's anthropomorphed. Like he stands up like a
yeah,
humanoid.
yeah,
He talks. He's not just like being like sweet sweet bring me cheese, and they're just like whatever you say, Master Splinter.
yeah. No, in the original series, in the original TV show, and in the movies, he's a rat that is owned by like a ninja.
Oh, okay.
So he learns all the ways of the ninja master, and then he gets oozed. And so then
Mm.
when he turns into a anthropomorphed rat, he teaches the turtles the things that he knows.
Oh, okay.
In this one, he's just a regular New York City rat. And he decides he
To be
like
a ninja.
doesn't trust humans because humans always just want to kill rats, right? So he's like, I need to protect myself and my sons.
Mm-hmm.
So he teaches them by watching taped like personal self-defense ninja classes from the 80s.
Like Chuck Norris stuff.
Yeah, like Chuck Norris stuff.
That's fantastic.
So it's an interesting decision. It made me laugh.
That explains why the Ninja Turtles who have swords don't slash and stab anyone because they just have
That's
terrible
right.
training.
Because Chuck Norris never stabs anybody. He just kicks him in the head with his boots.
I just meant that like watching from TV means Splinter's probably a bad teacher because he didn't learn very well. So they get these weapons and they don't know how to use them.
Yeah, not so much.
That's
Ooh,
my headcanon.
fair. Really weird thing that I noticed about the movie after it ended was they never say the names of the weapons. They
Really?
never say the word sai, katana, bow, staff, nunchucks.
Really?
And they refer to Donatello's long stick a lot. And they never call it a bow staff. And I'm like, why? This is a choice. Somebody made this choice. Why?
What do they refer to it as? His long stick? His walking stick? That
Yeah.
stick?
His long, narrow stick. I don't know.
Someone wanted to play a prank on the voice actors and forgot the original lines.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh
maybe.
shit, we can't afford to bring him back into the studio. Let's just roll with it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe they're just like, we need to put our stamp on this movie and we'll do something that nobody else has done and just never say the names of the weapons.
I guess.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an option. That's a choice.
Yeah. Okay, so one last thought, and it is a spoiler. So how much do you care about this?
I'll forget it in 12 days when I can see the movie.
So one major storyline here is that the teenage turtles really want to like be accepted by humanity.
Okay.
And they really want to be able to live among them and be normal and like go to school and go to dances and have dates and stuff like they see on TV with the other teenagers.
Sure.
And they get it at the end of the movie. Like they're allowed to enroll in high school and they like show up and everyone's like, oh, cool, it's the turtles. And I'm like, this is
America.
This is weird. Like no other version of the turtles has ever done this. Yeah, they want to fit in with humans. They want to be people, but they never get that. It never happens.
So this implies a lot of really weird things. Like
yes.
The state of New York would have issued them birth certificates, found that they were living without parents, and put them into foster care. Right? Like they would have. The end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ends with the kids being taken away from Splinter and given to Bill and Jane. You know, up in upstate New York.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know.
Okay, well, that's weird. Good for them.
Yeah, they're super happy about it.
Uh-huh.
It's funny because they get to go into a high school after hours.
Okay.
Just to kind of like look around. And it's this rundown center of New York high school. The drinking fountains don't work. The lockers are broken. The lights are out.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's dirty and filthy. And there's doors falling off their hinges. And they go in there and
they're psyched about it because it's better than a sewer.
They're psyched about it because it's awesome. It's everything they ever wanted. And it's very heartwarming. And yes, it's better than a sewer.
I like the ending of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where they get accepted into society and then arrested because they have to pay for pizza now, right? Like like they go, they don't have money anymore. They can't just like dial a delivery to an open sewer hatch and hope the guy just dumps it, you know?
Right. There's actually a scene early in the film where they go to get on a grocery run and they just like totally steal stuff from the local bodega. And I was like, I was waiting for them to somehow put money in the till, but then yeah, where are they getting money?
Yeah.
Yep. There are some deep, weird questions about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe, which
Yeah.
I guess this show's kind of exploring a little bit, actually.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, I'll look forward to having those questions in 12 days.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Good news. Yeah, it was really fun. I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As a turtle fan at a young age. And again, this is one of those, everybody has these things, but like there are certain things that you fall in love with because you are 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Not because it is good, but because you are 5 and you don't
Uh-huh.
know any better.
Uh-huh.
But it sticks with you
Mm-hmm.
forever. Like I feel like if Ninja Turtles came out in the year 2022, I wouldn't be like, yeah, this resonates with me. I like this a lot. But because 6-year-old Falcon was like, this is exactly what I need in my life. 40-year-old Falcon's into it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, man.
It's weird.
Programming.
Consumerism.
Yes, consumerism, brainwashing.
Yeah. I feel like there's probably got to be something like that out there for me because, like, I love. He's just like programming is fun. We don't mean coding. Come on. But like when I was a kid, I loved Yu-Gi-Oh, and now when I
Yeah.
look at it, I'm like, I really want a card game to play. It's card games for me now. So I'll play like I played Hearthstone for years,
Yeah.
and but now when I go to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm just like, okay, what the fuck is this? Like, because obviously any card game that's gone for 30 years has several layers of new mechanics built on old mechanics, built on tournament approved cards and which cards aren't approved. And I really dislike that. I think if you print a card for a card game, that card is always valid.
It
In
is
my
if you
opinion.
play with your friends.
It is, exactly. And that
Yeah.
became my problem. I don't have friends who like Yu-Gi-Oh like I do. And so, but every now and then I'll see a meme and I'm just like, oh man, I miss that. That's so good. That's so funny. There was a video about like they were playing Yu-Gi-Oh in VR, and so you have like this whole arm bracelet thing that has your deck in it, and but the game hasn't coded for like turns properly. So if you just pick up a card and put it down, you play it. But if you just pick it back up and play it again in VR, you can play it multiple times. And it's this minute video of a guy who's just taking the piss out of the broken system, and one guy who really wants to play by the rules. I no idea why it's so funny to me, but I love it, and it's because I watched a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh when I was 8.
Right. I've actually got a coworker who was in your boat, watched a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and then like found out there was this actual card game you could play and got some cards and tried playing with it with kids at school. And like the TV show does not prepare you for how to play the game in real life at all.
No.
It was a very traumatizing experience for her. She was like tried to
Uh-huh.
do stuff she'd see on the TV show, and they're like, "No, that's not
Nope.
how that works." And she's like,
Works.
But that what?"
Yeah, you gotta read the card descriptions before you play them.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh. Is there any Zodia? Can you do the Zodia thing?
Oh, the 4 pieces of Exodia? The 5 pieces of Exodia?
Yeah, yeah.
Wait, if you have them all just in your hand, you win the game?
Right. Is that a thing?
I think it was, but I don't think those cards are tournament legal anymore, so I don't think they count.
Ah, bummer.
But there was at Toys R Us Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments,
Awesome.
that I went to and I played, and I ran with Exodia cards. And so I had a tournament win with the 5 pieces of Exodia. I did that in a tournament game when I was who knows how old.
How is that not the greatest day in your whole life, Samacron? Like,
it very well might have been, you
you
know.
peaked. That was it. Would have been the best day in my life for sure. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you just like jump up and like start dancing and like woohoo?
No, I had to like convince the guy I hadn't stacked my deck. Because I think I did it on like turn 4, you know? Like I started with 3 of them. I'm like, oh, well, he's not going to believe this.
And he did not. He did not believe it. Oh, that's so funny.
Hmm.
Key says
Oh,
you get -1 geek point for saying the 4 pieces of Exodia. Ha!
that's fine. I'll take that point.
Yeah, I think you have enough. I think
Yeah.
missing out on 1 point of geekness is you're not really going to notice that. Not going to feel
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. Ugh.
Ugh. Well, maybe to finish this off, I'm just going to rant about my school's busing system real quick. Give me 2 minutes
Oh.
on this.
I mean, public transport is always on time, clean, and easy to use and understand, right?
It's not public transport is the thing.
Ah, so it's like it's a rental service. Like you're renting a bus, and they're gonna come pick your kids up from your house and drop them off at wherever it is they need to go, and it'll be great.
Man, that'd be so great if that's what it was, but it's not that either. No, so my kids go to a charter school, which just means it's not a public school,
Mm-hmm.
but it's paid for with the taxes that I pay that would go to the public for public school, and it just goes to the school instead.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is I think there's additional funding that goes towards busing if it's a public school, but charter schools don't get that. And
Okay.
so there's traditionally no busing for a charter school, but this one's big enough and they do have students kind of spread out enough that I guess there was enough demand to
Mm-hmm.
like, look, we will pay you to hire a bus service to do this
Mm-hmm.
just out of our own pockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it's been. So last year, my kids rode the bus, didn't have to deal with the insane carpooling system at the school because again, no bus and everybody, no kid, like hardly any kids live close enough to this thing that they walk.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great. So dropped him off at the bus stop, picked him up at the bus stop when the day was over, and it was wonderful. So this year they're like, no, your kids are not on the bus. And I was like, but they were on the bus last year. How are they not grandfathered in?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's been a question that I've had for the last few days. I'm still trying to get a hold of somebody who can answer that question for me because it seems like bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've been having to take an hour out of my day to drive the kids down to the school, deal with this stupid carpool drop off system.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a day and I already want to tear my face off. Like it sucks. So there you go. There's my rant. It's terrible.
uh, you're just go. I mean, this is like an A bomb on a cockroach, right? But like, why don't you just get up and get there an hour before all the other people get there, right? Less traffic on the road. You'll make it in half the time. You won't have to deal with other cars. The kids can sit at the front of the school and wait for 30 minutes before the custodian comes in and unlocks the gate, right? Like before the sun is up, even like just do it like that.
It's going to be like 10 degrees outside. It's going to be ice on the ground. All right, kids. Stay warm. Try
Buy
to move
him,
around a little bit.
buy him a thermos and fill it with hot soup. That'll be fine.
I'll consider this. I mean, the weather is nice right now. So,
Good for the next 8 months. It's a good plan.
I'll run it past him. Somicron, problem solver.
Child
Akisa's-
services won't be called. It's what I did. I have been there where my dad's like, look, I need to make sure you're out and at school. You're getting on the bus. You're gonna get to school before like some of the teachers are there. And I'm like, but what will I do? And he's like, I don't care. You're getting to school. You're going to leave early. You're gonna be there on time. I ended up helping in the library, putting away books that kids had borrowed and returned. And then for like an hour before first bell, I would just get to use the internet on the computers because we didn't have internet at home, but the school did at the library.
Oh, that's glorious.
Mm-hmm. Perfect trade. Also, it was I'm old enough that when I was in primary school, there were no filters on the internet on what you could search.
So young Somicron was doing porn at school, at the library, before anybody else showed up.
No, not entirely. Just like, oh, well, look what I found, and that would be that. Then I'll go back to playing RuneScape or something, or Club Penguin, whatever the fuck it was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Club Penguin.
Internet was a wild time in like, how old was I? 2005.
2005. Agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a better place too. Oh well.
You can never go back.
I can never go back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good rant about the bus.
Yeah, thanks. Feeling ranty.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. In other news, my kid got a job.
Oh, really?
Yep, he's working as a cleaner at the elementary school,
Oh, okay.
which was one of my first jobs. I delivered papers for a couple of years, and then I upgraded to that one.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good job for a high school student. Not too bad.
Sure. How much does it pay? What are the hours?
He's getting like $11 an hour.
Wow.
I know.
I think after exchange rates, that's more than me.
It's only 2 hours a day, so I mean, his paychecks aren't huge or anything.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty good. I got paid $4.91 an hour back when I started the year 1996.
Inflation, you know, it's
I
the
don't-
wages are keeping up. That's all, you know. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
$11 doesn't go nearly as far as you think it will.
Yeah, right. Right. So yeah, he's excited about it. Doing well.
He'll have to like, because you said it's in an elementary school. His kid's in high school, so he'll have to like make his own way there after school.
Yeah.
He's got a car.
Yep. So he bikes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep, he bikes over there. And then when he can drive, hopefully he passes his test first time in March.
Mm-hmm.
We can start looking at better jobs that are a little
It's-
bit further away. Now that he has actually job experience, probably has a better chance of getting one of those. So
Right. It's just if you were like if he was driving everywhere, I'm like he's gonna make a loss on fuel. Like there's no way in the world he doesn't working 2 hours a day.
yeah,
You know?
no. Yeah, good point.
Oh, petrol's so expensive.
It is. My local Walmart added a gas station a couple months ago.
Okay.
And they're still trying to get people to go there because their gas is seriously like 20 cents cheaper per gallon than anywhere else
Really?
surrounding. They are taking a major loss.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I've been going. It's been great. It's been fantastic.
I haven't even ridden my motorbike in over a month because I've just been cycling to work. I'm like, I paid $2.30 for a liter. Right. So times that by like 3, it's like $6.90 for a gallon or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Just cycle saves money.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
Smart kid.
Getting strong calves. I was like, yes, you probably are. I don't know why. Sure, I don't know if it's a priority, but yep.
Well, I mean, if you want to play sports in high school, it might be helpful.
True. True. All right, cool. Anything else we want to cover?
No, I think that's about it.
Let me swallow some ice real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it. It's a good ice, dry ice. What kind of ice?
Made by my refrigerator ice.
So it's unique ice. I can't get that ice anywhere in the world, other than your refrigerator.
What did you call it?
Unique.
Unique ice. Yes, only made by this refrigerator in this house. Never mind the other exact same ice making technology that's found.
They're hooked up to different water supplies. Yours is unique, one of a kind.
Except for my neighbors, but yes.
They don't have the same fridge.
I mean, they could. Anywho, it's good ice. All right, so that's going to be it from us. This has been Falcon Paladin Somicron with another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour, broadcast live on Twitch TV/Somicron. You can support the podcast by buying merch at falconpaladin.store and by going to patreon.com/Somicron and pledging there on a monthly basis for as little as just $1 a month. So,
true facts.
If you want to support us and you just don't want to spend more than $1, then hey, that's a good thing.
Good way to do it.
Yeah. All right. So again, that's going to be it from us. Thank you so much. We are going to be playing some Baldur's Gate 3 here at twitch.tv/Somicron and twitch.tv/Falcon Paladin. So if you're interested, and Aki says Falcon's neighbors, everything. Yeah, they do Command and Conquer, I think.
God, I want to say it was like Total Biscuit or like an In Control who was at a StarCraft or it was an esports event, right? And they were like, yeah, so StarCraft guys, they're like 1,000 APM a minute or whatever. And then they walked around to like the Command and Conquer guys who were playing like this, with just like lean back with their mouse, click. Yeah, I'm a pro. Click. And that is my perception of every Command and Conquer player.
Fair.
For all time now.
I need to look this up now because I've never really considered pro Command and Conquer. Anyway, cool.
All right, cool.
All right. So yeah, until next week, if you want the podcast, take care of yourself. And if you want Baldur's Gate 3, we're going to be here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing Bovine Slime.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
Bye.